Anthony Edwards is quickly proving to be one of the greatest young superstars in the entire NBA. Since drafting him first overall in 2020, the Wolves have risen in the NBA ranks from a team lacking identity to one of the most threatening two-way teams in the league. The whole franchise is now an embodiment of Ant Edwards' feisty and fearless approach on the court. But many fans and journalists see a greater future ahead for this young bull. After the best season of his entire career, the league started comparing Anthony Edwards to the great Michael Jordan, the man who is widely regarded as the greatest player to ever live. Even MJ himself told ESPN analyst Chris Broussard that he sees similarities between Edwards and himself. Both players star at the shooting guard position, are dominant scorers, elite defensive stoppers, and have otherworldly athleticism. So, in some regard, the comparisons make sense. But Edwards said that even though he appreciates the lofty comparisons, he doesn't want to be directly compared to MJ. He told Malika Andrews that though he admires Michael Jordan, he also sees differences in their games as well. One of them being Edwards' ability to consistently knock down the three-point jump shot. Believe it or not, despite Michael Jordan's incredible scoring totals as a guard, he wasn't a particularly good three-point shooter. During his career, his greatness only averaged 1.7 three-point attempts per game, which he shot at a .327 accuracy rate. Interestingly, in the playoffs, once the chips were on the line, Jordan shot more threes and with slightly higher accuracy than he did during the regular season. In the playoffs, MJ attempted an average of 2.5 attempts at a .332 accuracy. Still, those numbers come nowhere close to Ant Edwards' three-point totals. Throughout his young career, Edwards has attempted 7.4 three-pointers per game and shoots .353 from beyond the arc. Much like MJ, those numbers improve come playoff time to 8 attempts per game at a .391% clip. The stark difference in three-point shooting between the two players is evidence that even though they are similar, there are stylistic differences in their games as well. But that can largely be attributed to the eras they played in. When Jordan starred in the 80s and 90s, spacing and defense were completely different from today. The pace was slower, and teams were focused on getting inside the paint and scoring high percentage shots around the rim. NBA experts that assess how Jordan would have played during this era speculate that Jordan would have likely molded his game to become a more regular three-point shooter, and probably would have been extremely capable had he prioritized developing the shot. But we don't want to get too stuck on the differences, even if Ant doesn't want to be playing in MJ's shadow. Because the truth is, he might be the most similar player to Jordan since the late Kobe Bryant played for the Lakers. For one, even though Edwards does shoot the three-pointer, it is only one aspect of his game. In fact, the vast majority of his shots come from inside the arc. 659% this regular season to be exact, an extremely high number for a shooting guard in today's NBA. And compared to most other players in the league, less of Edwards' shots are assisted by his teammates. That's not because his teammates aren't passing, but instead because Ant has the confidence and abilities to put the ball on the floor and create his own space for shots. When Ant takes on these one-on-one matchups with ferocity and uses his freakish athletic ability to either get to the hole or dance a defender and knock down a mid-ranger, it is quite reminiscent of Jordan. Jordan's whole offensive game was predicated on getting to his spots and scoring at will. So stylistically, the two shooting guards are similar in that regard. And as we mentioned, both players aren't just offensive juggernauts. They both take great pride in their ability to make plays on defense. Jordan was so good at defense that he won the 1988 Defensive Player of the Year award and also made all defensive teams throughout his career. In fact, the most memorable play of his career in the finals against Utah was set up by a masterful play where he got on Karl Malone's blind side and stripped the ball to steal a possession for his team.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. You're going to see he's in the play. Look where Hornacek is setting the screen. Michael never clears, so Malone doesn't see him. He comes from the blind side and strips him. So 3 crucial plays.
Meanwhile, Edwards takes great pride in his defensive capabilities for the Wolves. He doesn't post a steal or block numbers like Jordan, but that doesn't mean he isn't willing to take on any matchup asked from him. Jordan was 6'6" with a lengthy wingspan and massive hands. Those physical attributes allowed him to rack up steals and blocks at an unheard of rate for a guard. Edwards, on the other hand, doesn't have the length that Jordan had, but at 6'4", he's listed at almost 30 pounds heavier than Jordan. And that's because Ant Edwards is built like an absolute tank who outmuscles guards and even gives big men hell in the low post when he has to. Once again, the type of defense that Edwards plays is different from Jordan due to the stark contrast in the eras they played in. In Jordan's case, it was all about mano-a-mano matchups, survival of the fittest. It made for great entertainment, but nowadays, defense just isn't played that way anymore. Now, defense is about a 5-man unit that can play in unison. Since offenses shoot the ball from further away, it forces defenders to cover more ground and act quicker. So to neutralize that threat, defenders are constantly switching assignments without offering a clean glance at the bucket. Edwards, being the young bull he is, stares in this defensive role as he can lock down guards, but isn't quick to get beat if he is switched on to an interior offensive player either. While the playing style is different, we could all bet that Jordan would have been an exceptional switch defender in the league today if it were demanded of him. With all that being said, we believe that the reasons people are comparing Edwards to Jordan aren't just based on their playing style. Sure, they both are two-way stars who can create their own shot and jump out of a building, but what really makes them similar is their personalities and attitudes. When Jordan was in the league, the common perception is that the league was a lot tougher than it is today. On the court, Jordan wasn't friends with his opponents. He was a killer that was after their necks. He would talk smack with a wide smile and back it up with equally confident play on the floor. The dude just exuded confidence both on and off the floor, and his personality was just as iconic as his basketball abilities. In this regard, Edwards might be more similar to Jordan than any other player in the league. In recent years, smack talk has really been getting phased out of basketball to some extent. Guys like LeBron and Curry are often all smiles on the court when embracing their opponents, but that ain't Ant Edwards. And he proved that in his team's first-round matchup against the Suns when he got up in Kevin Durant's grill and publicly trash-talked him after hitting a three-pointer in his face.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
This wasn't a lack of respect. In fact, Edwards' idol was Durant growing up. But on the court, it's just the way he is. He's a fearless, old-school, ultra-competitive baller with the psyche of Michael Jordan. Even in interviews and press conferences, the kid is overflowing with confidence and is a joy to watch. Edwards is as charismatic and entertaining as they get. He's a natural alpha male with a sense of humor and an unfiltered and unapologetic hunger to win. This is truly why the comparisons are being made to Jordan. Being compared to Jordan would be tough for anyone. Just ask LeBron James. He's been compared to Jordan his entire career. And now his son Bronny is entering the league and will be playing under a microscope as well. People just don't realize this massive shift that's going to happen in the NBA this offseason. And if you want to know what we think will happen, click on the video link currently on your screen. Thanks for watching and see you next time.